What's up, guys? This is a video that I normally wouldn't do because as a streamer, I have a lot of information from players, from coaches, from people within the scene in organizations within Riot. And it's very hard most of the time to see how much I can reveal, how to make my points without revealing my info or anything that could be traced back to sources. But I'm going to decide to leak something that hasn't been talked about before. This is going to be a new story and something that you'll probably see come out from more official channels than mine, and talk about one of the players on Cloud9. So before we go into this player and what happened, let's talk about the team in general. So for those that don't watch LCS, Cloud9 was supposed to be the team in LCS this year. They were the North American super team. In spring, the lineup was Fudge, Blabber, Jojo, Berserker, and Vulcan. In summer, they changed Fudge to Thanatos, and most people consider them to just be simply the strongest team in LCS. In spring, they ended up placing third, which wasn't a great result. Probably would be considered a failure based on the standards of the organization and the standards of the team and the roster that was built, but it wasn't the end of the world. But after summer, the Cloud9 roster became a disaster. They didn't end up making Worlds. They placed 4th to 100 Thieves. This was probably one of the biggest upsets that we've had in the history of the LCS, a team like 100 Thieves that has multiple extremely young players on the roster. Them being able to beat a team like Cloud9 that's comprised of pretty much all veterans, I mean mainly veterans, and players that just know how to win North America. This came completely out of nowhere. And I started looking into some things within the team. On the surface, it just looks like the players didn't synergize well together. You have these problems in super teams where it's very hard to find the players on the team that are going to sacrifice for other players, because not everyone can be farming all the time. You have to be dumping your resources into a limited amount of people, and you have to trust that those people will carry the game when the time comes. And it felt like Cloud9 really didn't do that. But it was really surprising how the problems seemed to get worse over the course of the year and not get better, especially in playoffs. And the collapse was crazy to watch. So the information that I'm going to reveal, I think is going to blow a lot of people's minds, is that today, or maybe yesterday, I guess at this point, Jojopyun has been terminated from Cloud9. So his contract was terminated for cause. This is something that I've heard from very trusted sources. And to me, when I heard this, I thought, what did this guy do? How could he possibly get terminated for cause? I mean, Jojo seems like a chill guy. In his interviews, he seems very relatable, like a very likable person. To hear that he was terminated for cause, I thought something extremely bad must have happened. Also, when you contextualize being terminated for cause with an organization like Cloud9, it was also confusing because Cloud9 is an organization that normally likes to shop their players around. They've had many players get bought out in the future. I mean, everyone remembers that original Cloud9 exodus to FlyQuest where they sold like Licorice, Diamond, and Palafox all to FlyQuest in some combo deal. And when I checked with agents, buyouts are not as big as they used to be, so maybe they wouldn't have cashed in shopping around Jojo. But to terminate him and just, offer him up to anyone who wants, that is a crazy proposition. So my sources have told me that the reason why Jojo was terminated was simply for tardiness. Yes, tardiness. He was just late too much. And I was trying to figure out how late does somebody need to be in order to be terminated for cause? And I've never heard of Cloud9 terminating a player for cause like this, terminating a player because they simply weren't behaving to the standard that is set within the organization. Apparently, this is an issue that Jojo had the entire year. He had been late consistently, and at some point they started tracking. This is after, a track record of him being tardy multiple times in a row. There was a point where they started tracking how many times he was late after that. And after they started tracking it, there was 43 different infractions from my sources, where Jojo was either late to team meetings, team workout, draft meetings, scrims, and eventually, when he was late for the last one, Cloud9 decided to terminate his contract, which, yeah, like I said, that is completely crazy. And I think that this is something that's really confusing for a lot of reasons. Number one, on Jojo's end, why is he just late so much at this point? Obviously, that is going to affect the team in some way. And the other thing that should be added into this discussion is who Jojo is and how much he was paid. Recently, I did an episode of Sackdown with Blabber. It debuted on the channel, I think, last Friday. And in this episode, Blabber talked about how he believes Jojo is the highest paid player in North America. He said he's probably the highest paid player in North America.
This year, I really wanted to play with Jojo, and I think Jojo's probably by far the highest paid player in the league. But
so for a player that is paid this much to not be taking his job serious enough and be late this much, it just seems like such a weird way to throw it all away. And I think that going forward, it's going to be very hard for Jojo to get the same type of contract when this stain is attached to everything. And this is some information that is going to be coming out from other sources, I believe, pretty soon. So I figured might as well just talk about it now. That is a big issue. When it comes to player laziness, I think this is one of the biggest issues I've had in North America, where a lot of players seem complacent. It seems like once they've got to a certain point, they start coasting. And Jojo is a player who is one of the most talented players we've had in North America for a while now. He's just a player that I thought would become like our version of Chovy, right? Chovy, right? North American Chovy is what I was hoping that Jojo would become. And obviously since the first year, it hasn't been going great, but he still has showed like definitely a lot of talent, a lot of ability. But I don't really like the idea of a player like that not putting in the effort, because how are you going to become the North American Chovy when other people are taking their job from what it seems more seriously? And this is something that's corrosive for other players. I know myself, hey, it wouldn't be a video without bringing a Piglet, but I know myself how it is when your highest paid player seems to have behavior issues and how that can affect the team. It's something that even if players are not super jealous people, they're always going to be cognizant of, this guy is the most paid. Why is he doing the least? Or why is he seemingly putting in the least effort? Why is he doing things that are causing our team to always have to wait around? Like, it's something that is actively hurting the team. And this is something that can be really tough, because that sets an example for other people within a team. If you're late all the time and people see that you're getting away with it, so to speak, you might decide, yeah, I can be late a few minutes here and there. And then when you have 5 players with this mentality, it just becomes a way less serious environment. So this was something that was crazy. When I heard from my sources that this was a case, I couldn't even believe it, because I thought that Jojo would probably be the one person that would stay on the team, at least. If I was thinking about how you'd reconstruct the C9 lineup, I thought, okay, maybe like they keep Jojo and Thanatos and they move other pieces around. Blabber's been there a while, Berserker's been there a while, Vulcan just came back. I thought that this would be maybe one of their most stable pieces going into the offseason, and it turns out that he is not stable at all, because he is the first person cut from Cloud9. So yeah, there it is. I wanted to put this out there. Hopefully you guys have a good discussion about it. But Jojo has been terminated for cause for being late 43 times to different team meetings and scrims and things like this within the LCS. So there it is. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Obviously, it's something that I took time in making sure that this was the right decision. And now it is out there, so people can discuss it. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.